Hey guys, how you doing? It's Alan with WL Madden, and we want to start today off by saying happy birthday to Bill. Oh, look at my shirt. It's a little bit under the collar here. Bill's birthday is today, so Mr. Madden himself, it's his birthday, so we want to give a shout out to Mr. Madden. And I wanted to go over all the exciting news of what's been going on. I haven't done a webinar in a while. Mike's been doing a lot of the webinars. We have a lot of good news for everybody out there on both sides of the fence. Those are agents that are out there working with us, and then also campaigns that are going on. We have a new technology that we brought to the table with reporting, and there'll be reports going out on leads. But I'm actually going to go over and grab this little list right here just to give you an idea of what's going on. So as you guys know, we started this whole organization and calling businesses and offering a one-stop solution. It was a new idea that had been presented to, eliminate all the phone calls and all the different companies that are out there that are calling through these different businesses and only offering one service. So WL Madden is a one-stop shop that offers a multitude of business services, and we have an agent program, which you guys have lucky enough to be involved with, that allows you to make commissions on these different services that are coming in, right? And so, it took us a little while to get moving, get our feet wet with the new concept. And thanks to the agents that are working so hard, we have some very large deals that are starting to come in. We have, I think actually, come to think of it, we have Philip. He brought in a very large deal to us that looks like it's about to get funded, which is a very large, it's called project funding, which I've talked about on several webinars. We have another project funding deal that came from another agent, and that's really going to give us the backing to be able to grow into the company that we really want to be and give you guys even more than you guys already have. Bill's going to be able to offer a multitude of new, all types of different softwares and different things that's going to make your lives easier. Also, I know that, and I'm glad to see Patricia's on here. She was asking about business cards. So I have an example of a business card that was made, and let me just grab it right here so you can see. It's a very simple design because there is a lot of different formats to pick from, but this is the design on this particular card. So you can see it's very simple, and what it says on it is consulting services. It has the name, and then it has VP on here, specializing in funding and merchant services. It's got the phone number, the 877 number, and then the cell phone number, as well as an email address. So that's how simple you can make it, or you can pick from the variety of business cards that are out there. But because I saw you, Patricia, I wanted to show you this example, and we can actually shoot you this exact a replica of this if you like, and you and Lawrence can do something like that. But I wanted you guys to see that. That's what a business card looks like, a real simple way to keep it nice and clean and simple, and offering the different services that we offer. So, I also wanted to go through this list with you guys today, and this is for different campaigns. Now that we're getting moving on the campaigns that we've been talking about, we have in-house salespeople that call through leads, and their initial job is to go through and call businesses and then just let them know they have a very simple script, which we can also share with you the script that they're using. We change scripts all the time, but we can download scripts and give you guys scripts. I want to put those in the back office, but if you guys ever want a script, you can call in. We can give you the scripts that are used by the callers here. And this is specifically for funding. We have a lot of campaigns going on for funding. There's a few questions on here, but the main reason, and the first and foremost, the reason I pulled these out is because the callers that have been calling for the past 2 weeks now, I know there's a lot of campaigns out there on this particular file, is a really, they're simply business leads. Some of them are businesses that already, they're kind of pre-approved leads. And so on some of these, they're pre-approved businesses. On some of them, they're just businesses that we know fit into a certain business category. We're about to give people access to our, certain amounts of leads. If you guys want to work on them yourself as well, we're going to be getting some lead files for people to work on too. But let me just slow down for a second, go over the information that I'm so eager and excited to go over with you, which is number one, the campaigns that are now going on. We're starting to catch some fire. This is from one agent from 1 week. Okay, and this is last week. This is the let's take a look here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 businesses, all right? And these leads belong to somebody. Some of these are agents' leads that they put in the back office. Some of them are files that are being called on for agents. There's a mixture going on here of what these leads are, but this is from one agent from last week. So you can see how much work goes in just from one person. That's a lot of calls that were made. The amount of dials that these guys make on average ranges between 200 to 400. Our new system that we're enabling actually allows our agents to call through like closer to 1,000 leads a day. But just with what we have now, you can see that this is how many businesses that were contacted that were actually willing to fill out this little survey and this little page. So we have a couple different scripts. This one's specific to funding. If I could get you money in your account today, how much would you need? Okay. What would you be using the money for? All right. This one says payroll and growth. This one says they want 100K. How long have you been in business? 11 years. How much are you averaging per month in deposits into your business account right now? 82,000. This is a really good lead. Are you the only owner? Yes. How is your credit? Give me a roundabout score. 650. Do you have any current loans or cash advances? Yes. They have actually on this business 2 cash advances currently, which is fine. We can do all the way up to 8th or 9th position if needed, if they can afford it. So I'll explain that to you in just a minute. Last question: if we can get this money in your account today, what would that do to your bottom line? In other words, how is that going to help your business? Okay, these are the questions that we ask the businesses once we read through an initial script that goes something like, hey, Mr. Business Owner, this is so-and-so with WL Madden. We offer business services for your business. We specialize in funding, although we do have a lot of services. I know you get a lot of annoying phone calls just like this. Hopefully this will be the last phone call you ever get. Hopefully you're looking for some funding for your business. We specialize in getting funding, and we have all different types of loans. We have short-term, long-term, term loans. We can get deals funded over $50 million. So it depends on what your needs are. Is money something that you're interested in right now for your business? Oh, yes? Okay, great. Let me just real quick briefly ask you some questions about your business and make sure we're a good fit for you, and then we can go from there and get you on the phone with a specialist, okay? That's when we would go into these questions right here. If I could get money in your account today, how much would you need? What will that money be used for? How long have you been in business? How much are you averaging per month in deposits? Are you the only owner? How is your credit? We want to get a roundabout credit score. Do you have any current loans or cash advances? And if we can get this money into your account today, what would that do to your bottom line? How would that help your business? What would what would that do for you? Okay. Now, this question is then going to go to a closing department. It's going to go to a specialist, one of our closers, Jeff, Mike, someone like myself that understands the loan business a little bit more, and then can take the bank statements, get an application in. And keep in mind, all we need is 3 months of bank statements and an application filled out. And then we can, 85% of the time, get the business the funding they need, as long as they bring in at least $10,000 a month, right? And they're in business at least 3 months. Now, there's various reasons why businesses may or may not get approved. And I do want to let you know that on these particular files, a lot of times after we get off the phone with these people, they're very hard to get back on the phone afterwards. It's because they're business owners. So that's the thing, is scheduling time with business owners and then creating some type of urgency for businesses, such as, hey, you know what? I know you said you're looking for the funding. I am going to need bank statements from you. So on these bank statements, it's kind of important that we get them as quick as possible. This is a time-sensitive situation, and we're closing in at the end of the month, and we want to make sure we get all the deals in so we can get you the money that you need. How quickly can you get me the bank statements? Now, you guys that are local agents and you guys are dealing with local businesses, it's going to be a lot easier for you right there on the spot to stay in touch with businesses. So for those of you that do want to take it to the next level and actually get the bank statements, you don't even need to get them. All you need to do is take out your mobile app, take a picture, or even if you just want to use your phone and take a picture of 3 months of bank statements, we can get them a roundabout figure with those 3 months of bank statements without even having an application. We're about to do something special for certain people that qualify, that go through some of our training classes, which is we're going to give you access to the applications, in which case you would then type out the information that the application needs, and then just have a DocuSign where they just put their name on it, and then you can shoot it over to us with 3 months of bank statements, and we can literally get the deal approved within 20 to 30 minutes, and then they can find out exactly how much they qualify for. But this whole process of what we do, guys, again, money is the easiest thing to talk to businesses about, and if you're in front of a business owner or you're calling someone over the phone or whatever the case might be, money is easy to talk about. Getting money for them or saving them money on processing, like we always talk about, right? Websites, SEO, things of that nature, they're a little bit more difficult to explain, a little bit more difficult to market. And so that's why we like to go in on the money thing. So on the campaigns that we're running right now, again, as you can see, we're starting to get some traction, and we have a new software that's just about, it's going to be, it's taking a minute to get it in place, but it's a new system that also is going to enable agents to log in directly to it. And for those of you that want to participate, we're going to be giving you access to a big lead database. You can take a headset, right? Plug it into your computer, and you're working right off of our database, and you'll see on your computer screen, it will appear that you guys can actually dial phone numbers on there. You can pick through the leads. You can leave notes on the leads. So for certain people that we know are trained well enough, and we know and have a little bit of a relationship with, we will give you access to that stuff. We're also, the goal is to start building files. And once that lead is tagged with your name on it, you're working on a lead, that becomes your lead, even though it's coming from our database. We're about to get access to a database of quite a few million leads that we're partnered up with someone who's giving us access to that, and we're going to give access to certain agents those leads, so you can plug a headset in. What our goal is to be as helpful as possible to our agents, obviously. But I want you to keep in mind, if you were to call through leads, as we do here, it's time consuming, and a lot of phone calls are made just for one of these. Once this happens, then there's still more to the process, which I'm going to outline on the whiteboard so you guys really get an understanding of what we call workflow. Any successful company has, a successful workflow and how they handle all these deals. And we've had to actually overcome different, scenarios since we've started ourselves. As much experience as we have, things are rapidly changing in the industry, and what works yesterday might change very rapidly. Every few months, new things come along, and new different ways to handle situations come along. But in our database, obviously we want to have the business. And once they're in there and that lead is tagged with someone's name, so whatever agent has this lead, and let's see, this one says Antonio David is the name of the business owner. Let's see, this one is, Nelson Cable is the name of the company. So whoever's leads these are, they're going to be worked on, and then we're going to make sure that we follow the next steps with them. But again, this is just the beginning of the process. Our goal is obviously to get them through the whole process. I'm going to outline that for you guys. This gives you an idea of, even you yourself, what it would take to get a deal done start to finish. But keep in mind, once we have a client, if it's for funding or processing, no matter what it might be for, our goal is to build a long-term relationship with that business owner to then offer them multiple services as we go along. The beginning is always the most difficult because business owners have so many different choices. They can also go online themselves and look for different services. But once we get them one service, it's a lot easier to continue to get them the other services they need, right? So that's why we give you so much information on the different services that are out there and how they all work. But we don't want to make this confusing. Again, the reality of it is this is simply a referral business. That's as much as we need is referrals, whether they're through in person, whether they're through a website, an email, whether they're over the phone. That's always going to be stored under your name. Then we're going to continue to contact that business. So even if you don't see something happening right off the bat because you didn't get a response on a lead that you sent in or whatever the case might be, it stays in the database, and then it's prioritized by color code about, is this a hot lead? Is this, someone who has said they were interested? Is this someone who we haven't talked to at all yet? What level are they at? And then the further up the food chain they are, the ones that we know are super hot, obviously those are the ones that we're trying to get paperwork done on right away and get the ball moving as quickly as possible on. So you guys are doing a great job. We have, an agent that just actually sent in a lead today. I just spoke with him. He's actually from Arizona, and he's an agent with Bill's company. And so he needs a Spanish-speaking rep to talk to a young lady who owns a restaurant who wants a new POS system, which is a point of sale system, and wants to be able to accept credit cards. She's not happy with who she's at. So this is what we would call a laydown. This is someone who's literally just begging us to help her and to get her the stuff that she needs. And there'll be no doubt that that deal will get done. Okay. Some of them are more difficult where the business owners, you guys have already experienced, oh, this is a scam. You can't possibly process at 0%, or, I want to learn more about the company, or whatever excuses that people give to us, as a company and as salespeople and as representatives. You're going to deal with all different types of scenarios. But as you start to learn how to talk to people and start to see how we handle the clients and let you listen into recordings and things of that nature, you'll get a bigger, clearer understanding of what's going on. But the good news is that, again, this is just from one agent from last week. They got quite a few interested parties in here, and I can go through these with you. But, this one's looking for $50,000. They're depositing, let's see, $250,000 is what they did for the year. So what does that come to? I'm not quite sure, because let's see, that would be $20,000 or $30,000 a month or something like that. Then we have this one. They're looking for $200,000. They deposit $100 to $180,000 a month. That's really good. Completely debt free. This is a really good lead. This was sent in. Let's see. Wayne Donley is the name of the guy that owns the business. And again, I wish that I had right in front of me the agents these belong to. But the good news is that we have a new reporting system. We're going to be sending out reports so that the agents, that everybody that has leads going on, if you get a bi-weekly or weekly report that Victoria will be sending out to you guys. That way you guys can see the results of all the leads that are being called and see exactly what's going on with these different leads. But it's coming to the point now. We were backed up for a minute, but things are starting to pick up pace now, which is really good. And it's only right around the corner before the whole process is finished with these particular leads. But I am going to outline the total process for you guys, so you guys have an understanding of the workflow and what actually has to happen start to finish for a deal to be completely funded. Now, once the deal's funded, obviously getting them processing and a website and things of that nature, there's a workflow for every single service that's out there. And that's one of the challenges that we had to overcome when we first started this company is, hey, we offer all these different services, but this isn't just a simple phone call and then, we sell something and then it's over. There's a lot of work involved and a lot of participation with the business owner and with our reps, not only our salespeople, but our IT department or anybody else that needs to be in contact with these businesses about the services they have. Okay, so I am going to go over the total workflow with you guys so you can get an understanding of what it looks like from our perspective when we're calling businesses, and you can see that. But it's very similar to if you were to send a lead in through the back office, exactly what happens after that lead comes in. That way you guys can know what to expect as we move forward with this journey. Okay, matter of fact, let me grab a marker here. And then we'll get to some questions. And we do have some exciting news. Again, for those of you that did not hear, it is Mr. Madden's birthday today. So happy birthday to Bill. And we did get some exciting news on a deal another project funding deal that looks like is going to come to fruition. We're hoping sooner rather than later. But it's been approved, and I'll outline the process of those larger deals as well. Actually, we also had an agent that sent in an $8 million deal today too. Now we just started looking at it. We're just talking to the lender about it. And, we're going to have to see, it's a city deal from my understanding. And we're going to, outline the process of those bigger deals. But, all these deals that you guys they're all coming from agents, and you guys are doing an amazing job as far as, putting these deals in. And then we'll be having personal conversations with the people that are getting these deals done as well. I like to make phone calls when deals come in and let people know, hey, we're working on this or that, and this is where it's at. This is the stages that it's at. If I had more time to spend, I would love to talk to every single one of you all the time, but my time is consumed with making sure that all this process goes smoothly. Let's take a look right now of what it looks like for the workflow of a deal, start to finish, from the time that someone makes a phone call, okay? So we have a list of leads, all right? We'll just go 1 through 10 here, right? And it's in a spreadsheet. And on this spreadsheet, it has the name of the business, it has the phone number of the business, it has the website maybe, the address, the email sometimes. This is what it looks like on the spreadsheet. And what happens is that our mechanism calls through these numbers, and one by one, it goes in a system that basically, it's a predictive dialer, which means that the next available person that's available on the phone, as that phone is ringing, as soon as an agent is available and a business owner is on the phone, it goes to the next available agent, which for us, stops us from having to have a bunch of time sitting there and poking numbers. So that's how a predictive dialer actually works. It's pretty unique, and it allows us to move through the leads a little bit faster. So what happens is that once we talk to the business owner and we find out, yes, I'm interested in money. Okay. So that business now, it gets tagged, and inside there's going to be notes that are put in. Okay, the business owner picked up the phone. So now they picked up the phone, and yes, they're interested in talking about funding. Okay, then this questionnaire that I just showed to you guys for this particular script and this particular campaign is the script that we're using, and that goes in, and the questions are filled out both in the computer system and on this piece of paper here. And what happens from there, okay, is once this questionnaire is filled out, we'll do this in blue here, questionnaire, just so you can see the steps. So we have step 1, step 2, right? Now, this is when it's time that this goes to the next level, which is going to be a closer or a consultant that needs to then talk to this business and get in the bank statements. So the consultant at this step 3 is going to try to call through these hot leads now that we already know, yes, they are in fact interested, and they're going to get a pile of leads just like this. And again, keep in mind, these guys work off the same commission structure you guys do. They're hungry to get these deals done. They're going to take these leads, they're going to call through, and they're going to try to get bank statements, okay? Bank statements and application credit app filled out. Those are the 2 things that we need to get a deal looked at before we can send it in to any one of the lenders that we use. So we need to get a credit app. We need to get the 3 months of bank statements. We need to make sure that they're doing at least $10,000 a month, get the credit app in, get the bank statements in. Now we can shoot it out to the lender. The lender will give us an approval pretty much right away within a 24-hour period, usually within about 30 minutes. They'll say, this is a good deal. So that now, I guess you would call this, right, is step 4. So it goes to the lender, and the lender gets an approval or denies it, which, again, they do get denied once in a while, but most of the time they get approved as long as they meet the certain criteria we already talked about. Even if they already have other loans, a lot of times we can get them a 3rd or 4th or 5th position, depending on the situation. Now, obviously, that's going to affect, depending if they have other loans, affects a variety of things, including the amount of money that we make on the deal and things of that nature. But we can still get them done and get them on their feet and get them a better loan than they already have, buy out their old loans. We could sit here all day long and talk about all the different loans that we do and all the different things that we're capable of doing. But just know that we can get them the funding they need most of the time. And so once we get this approval, let's talk about the next step. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're at step 5, right? So now we have to call that business owner back. And we then have to let them know, hey, you got approved. Okay, so we're at step 5 already. All right, you got approved, and this is the terms on the loan. So we got you approved for $10,000, $20,000, $30,000. I can actually give you an example of one that just got approved the other day with a really bad credit and explain what's going on with that one as an example. So we're at step 5. Let's just keep that in mind here, okay, this whole process, okay? And I'll grab this example, and I'll actually, I can just actually go over it with you. Matter of fact, I'm trying to remember whose lead this was, whose lead it was, but it was an approval for $7,000 actually, was the amount that they're going to give the business owner. But the guy had a 440 credit score. Oh, you guys can't see that. So he's got a 470 60 or a 480 credit score. He got approved for only $7,000, mainly because of his credit score. It's a high-risk situation. The lender is, I mean, although we can get the deals done regardless of credit, 460 or 480, whatever it is, that's pretty low. Okay. He also has a couple other loans he's had in the past that he didn't pay off or something of that nature. So again, they did approve it for $7,000. His payback on it is $10,250, right in that ballpark right there. I think it was $10,243. So let me get a phone and show you how this works. Let me get a calculator here so you can understand a little bit more about this industry and we can be real clear on how this all works. Okay, so $7,000. Okay. And this loan was taken at, I believe, 0.4 to 0.49. So let me explain that to you. Okay, so on this deal, they said, look, you know, it's going to be a 0.49 deal. So what does that mean to you guys? How does this translate for you guys? In the lending world of, you know, high risk lending with people with bad credit, it's going to be, you know, they're going to pay a lot of money for the money. So if we take the 75 or the $7,000, we times it times, let's see, 0.4, we should go 0.5 because it's closer to 0.5, right? Is $3,500. Okay, so that's where we get the figure. It's a little less, as you can see, because if you added $3,500 to $7,000, you would get $10,500. So it's a little bit under 50%. Okay, but we don't call it 50%. We call it 0.49, and there's other ways that it's called fat. It's just the way of presenting the loan. And see, here's the thing you got to keep in mind with these cash advances. Okay, with people with bad credit, we don't like to have to use these higher rates at this amount, but we don't have a choice because the lender tells us, look, these guys have horrible credit. If they want money, this is the very best we can do. We're not willing to risk our money for less money. But here's the good news on these loans, and I want you guys to understand this. Let's say they take this money. Okay, so now they have a daily or bi-daily or every 2 days or every 3 days, money gets pulled out of their account. That's how these loans work, okay? So what happens is they take the money, they now owe $10,250. And then every couple days, you know, something's going to come out of their account. Monthly volume of what they're taking in through their business and through their credit card machine is, you know, $10,000 a month. And this is going to be based on that money that's coming out of that's actually going into their business. So they're bringing in $10,000 a month to their business, and every couple of days, $200 is going out. This number is going to adjust if they're doing less business. So if they do $5,000 one month, okay, this is only going to be $100 a month that's coming out. So imagine you that all have bills just like we do, and then your mortgage and your car company and everybody says, oh, you were sick for half the month this month. We're going to decrease your bills because you only worked half the month. We're going to make your bills half of what your bills should be. So you have $2,000 a month in bills. You're only going to have $1,000 instead this month because you guys had a rough month, and we understand that you didn't do well this month and you didn't get to work for 2 whole weeks. You only worked 2 weeks. So we're only going to charge you, instead of your $500 car payment, we're only going to charge you $250. And on your mortgage, that's $1,200. We're only going to charge you $600 this month. So that's the benefit to these types of loans, is that it's all predicated based on how much money is coming into their business on a given day, week, month. Every time they pull out money, it's based on the amount of business that they're doing. So when they get the loan approved, that's why they look at those statements. They say, okay, this business is bringing in X amount per a month, so we'll lend them this much money. They've been consistent enough for 3 months. However, we want to be paid back over the course of the next 10 months, 12 months, 6 months. Every loan is different. It all depends on what that lender wants to do. Now, you guys have on your website one of the best options for business owners, bar none, is with one of our partner banks. And if you look right on there, the rates start as low as 4.66%, which is amazing these days. in these types of loans. Okay. However, the business owner needs to have good credit, and all they do is they go onto WL Madden and they go right through the funding portal, not where they type in their information, but they click on, if you go to WL Madden, okay, and then you go to the website, and this is something good for you guys to know, just so you know, if a business owner has great business, well, this is what I want you to do all the time, okay? The WL Madden website, all right? Let's just draw it out real quick, which again has a multitude of different services on there. Now, when you look at the website, it has a little, right here, it has the member login, which you guys are all familiar with. Right here, it has a drop down on services, okay? I don't want you to go through it to do the drop down, because you don't have to. You can if you want. But if you scroll down, on the bottom left-hand side, there's something called funding. Okay, if you click on funding, it's going to bring you to another paragraph about funding and about how funding works, where it talks about, hey, if you need some cash for your business and you need up to $100,000 right now, click here. There's a red button, okay, a red button. You guys will all see it. If the business owner then clicks on that red button right there, click on the button. Okay, very simple. So the business owner clicks on the button. When they click on that button, it's going to take them to yet another page. It's going to ask for the business owner's name, the business name, the address, the email, their revenue. How much revenue are they bringing in every month? Then it says click here, and it actually asks them to create a password as well. At this point in time, that goes into our system. That becomes our lead. That is our company's lead. Then they go a little bit further through the portal. The business owner, not you, the business owner puts their information in there. They're actually going to click on the bank that they have. Say they have Wells Fargo Bank. They're going to click on Wells Fargo. Then all they're going to do is put in their username and password for Wells Fargo. It's going to link right up to their bank account. It's going to give them an instant approval on how much money they can get right there on the spot. And then it's going to ask them, do you want $50,000 tomorrow deposited into your account? Yes or no? Here's the terms. You want $100,000, you're going to pay back $110,000 over the course of X amount of months. Do you want the money right now, tomorrow, without ever talking to an annoying salesperson like Alan or Michael or Keith or Adam or any of the other annoying salespeople that will call you for whatever reason? Don't ever talk to any of them. Click here, enter your bank information, enter your QuickBooks. Do you want this money tomorrow in this account? Yes or no? Yes, great. Check it out. With this particular company, if they make a payment towards their loan, that money that they made on that payment becomes instantly back available to them. Okay? As soon as they make a payment of $5,000, guess what? You can borrow that $5,000 again right away. There's all different types of benefits for the loans that we do right through our website. It's not for every business. If they don't have good credit and they haven't been around a long time, keep in mind, guys, this is for better businesses that have, good credit. But that link, you guys, I want you also to know, because of the way our portal is built out, okay, because you probably have some questions going on right now, which is, well, how would you ever know that that was my deal? Well, here's the best part about this situation. Any business that you're going to take to this portal, obviously we want you to put that in your back office. As long as you went to your back office and you said, my business is XYZ business, and they went to the portal, I sent them to the portal, they want to borrow money. When that gets funded or doesn't get funded, that is your lead, okay? One thing that will never happen with Bill's company is if the lead originated with you and then it goes through our portal, you're always going to get the credit for that deal, as long as we know that it's your deal. And here's the fact. even if we don't know where it came from, and it was 6 months down the road, and Charles Knight said, Alan, I just want you to know, XYZ business went through your portal. I forgot, I didn't realize. And we look up that business and we say, okay, wow, this business went through our portal. So because we already know, there's no way for you guys to know what businesses went through the portal or not went through the portal. So it's not like you can make this stuff up. So we already know Mr. Charles Knight is telling us that this was his lead. He just never entered it in, but he sent the business through the portal, and we know that that's your lead. So believe me, unless there's some crazy reason why we have reason to really doubt, the last thing we ever want to do is not pay someone a commission, because we want our agents to do well and succeed, because that's money that we never would have had as a company either. We're willing to do the work for you. My companies offer the business services, right? I own some business service companies. Bill's company makes this all possible by allowing agents to actually get paid what they deserve, because most companies would have you working on some type of hourly or something like that. This gives you the opportunity to make $1,000 on a business loan, $5,000. Heck, if it's a multi-million-dollar deal and you might, bring in a huge deal, you might make $500,000 on a deal. And so those deals, again, we'll get into that type of funding, which would be great when those deals start to fund. We do have some deals in the pipeline that now look like they've been accepted, and they should be funding relatively soon. And once that happens, that takes our company to the next level. And for a lot of you, that's very exciting for multiple reasons, which we've already talked to you guys individually that know what those reasons are. But again, it's exciting because the system works, right? We have a program that works really well, and we get the ability for agents to make these large commissions in the door. And the agent program that Bill put together, for obvious reasons, which is, there's not much out there that's real these days, right? So Bill wanted to make sure that there was a company that actually did what they said and gave people the opportunity to make good money with real products and services. And that's the best part about what we do. Now, again, once these bigger deals start to fund, you have no idea what's in store for you guys, because it enables us to really take things to the next level and offer you guys all types of unique tools. But even previous to that happening, we're still building those tools anyways. So let's go back now and let's talk about the business loans and the whole workflow. So once the deal gets approved, it starts a whole new beginning to the process, okay? Once a business owner finds out that they're gonna get, $10,000, okay, or $7,000, whatever, and they have to pay back $3,000 or $4,000, or maybe even, $4,900, whatever the case might be, you guys might say to yourself, this sounds like a lot of money. And this is not, really the type of loan, and it is a lot of money. But if you guys that have owned a credit card before, you take a $10,000 credit card, okay, and you take a minimum payment, do you have any idea how much money you would pay back if you made the minimum payment on a credit card of $10,000? You're talking 30, 40, sometimes it would just never end. Sometimes you just would be paying back the credit card companies for the rest of your lives. And you guys that have credit cards know exactly what I'm talking about, is that it just might never end, and you might just be paying interest for the rest of your life on a minimum payment, because that's the way that these companies like to operate. With the cash advance industry and the business loan industry, they're very transparent about it. Hey, you want to borrow this much, you have horrible credit, you're going to pay back this much. Sounds like a lot, but if you have a bad month, we're going to help you out. We're going to help you out if you have a bad month, and we're going to let you re-borrow money just a few months later. As long as you're making your payments 4 months later before you even pay off that loan, we're going to let you borrow more money. Now, if it's someone like Fundbox, the rates are going to be super fantastic, and they can borrow more money right after they make the payment. This is all predicated upon the company's situation. So there is no one type of loan. That we have so many different types of funding, you wouldn't believe it. But in the cash advance industry, okay, again, once we get the business to get approved, we then have to have another conversation. And that's going to be, I guess we're at step 6 now, right? So step 6 is, we're going to talk to the business owner about the money that they're about to borrow, and we're going to get a term sheet written. And that's going to give the exact, obligations of the business owner, so they know, hey, this is exactly what is coming out of your account once a week, once a month, once every other day, depending on the loan. So sometimes some companies pull out daily, weekly, monthly. Every company is different. It all depends on the situation. Again, we work through an awful lot of lenders depending on the deals. We like to push as much through as we can at really good rates, because the fact of the matter is the commissions that we make are very similar in these deals. We're not looking to have any business owners that are affected in a negative way. In fact, we're the first company that actually takes companies and says, look, why don't we do this? Get this money in your pocket. Step two, even though we don't make much money on it, let's get your credit fixed. So that way, over the course of this loan, we can now take a little bit of money, get your credit fixed. Let's get you a nice new website and bring more money into your business. So you guys have all seen all the gurus, they call themselves, and all these people online and YouTube which tell you, hey, we can show you how we started a business with almost zero to no money. And we're going to show you how to talk to businesses about getting new clients in the door, and the type of marketing that we did. And we started from our basement with nothing, but now we're multi-gazillionaires, and we're going to show you how to do it. All you have to do is come to this webinar, and we're going to show you how to do the same thing we did. And then you go to a webinar, and then they want to charge you $10,000 to show you something that they probably never did themselves. But anyways, you know, that it is true that yes, there are ways to get people on the first page of Google, to do the types of marketing to get more business in the door, and we offer those types of marketing, SEO campaigns, social media marketing. The truth is every business is different on that too. There's no one solution to get more clients in the door online. If there was one solution to do all that, it wouldn't matter how much the company charged that could do it. They would be the biggest company you've ever seen in your life, or they would have names like Facebook or Google, okay? But there is some formulas that will definitely work to get people much more exposure, put them on the first page of Google for different business categories. And that's what we want to offer to these different business owners, is a nice, beautiful website and a way for them to get more exposure and to get more clients in the door. And we can do some pretty amazing things when it comes to marketing, and we do it at some pretty fantastic prices. And believe it or not, that's also on your WL Madden website. So I do want to, you know, jump into that after and kind of show you how that link works, because it's very similar to the funding link. It's called the business scan. But after we get through these steps, I'll briefly, you know, go over that. I have a lot to go over with you tonight. I'm already talking 100 miles an hour. I drank a Red Bull, so don't get upset with me. I was supposed to quit Red Bull about a month ago, but I can't seem to stop, so sorry. So here's the good news, is that after we tell them about the business and we go to step 7 is we have to just get the contract signed and get any documents that we might need to get in. Once that step 7 and everything, all these documents are in, okay, magical number 7, lucky 7. Now the business gets funded the very next day, and then we get funded depending on the bank. A day later, 3 days later, whatever it might be, we get funded, and then the agent, you know, that goes to Bill's company, then Bill's company pays you guys out. I believe it's on a monthly basis, so your commissions build up, and once a month, then you guys get paid out. So the commissions come right away to the business. Right after they get their funding, we get paid a commission on the deal. People ask how much that commission is. You know, we have a few different banks in a few different scenarios, so it's difficult to say. But on average, we get anywhere from the vicinity of 5% to 10%, all right, of the total funded amount, and then you guys get paid 25% of our commission, no matter if it's, you know, $1,000 or $10,000 or whatever the case might be. You guys are always going to get 25% of what we get. So each lender is different, and we wanted to add more possibilities to the equation, because I'm sure you guys would rather make something rather than nothing. So even though our bigger, you know, perfect relationships, it would be a 10% scenario in which we get paid 10% of the funded amount. So on $100,000, right? Our company gets paid $10,000, and you guys get paid $2,500. This is a standard situation on a cash advance. However, if there's some reason why we have to go through a different lender and we can't use this perfect scenario, then it may be lower than that, only because we'd rather get you something and get us something rather than nothing. If we have to go through some of the lenders that pay less in commission, we still want to get that business funded, but it's not going to be typical. And you guys we'll show you our deposits. We have no problem being very transparent with you guys. We want to make sure that you guys know you'll always get exactly what you have coming to you, okay? However, different commissions are for different reasons. Now, we are going to discuss, so that's the whole process. You know, we have a kind of a 7-step workflow system. This is whether you're sending a lead into us on funding or we're calling leads. You know, so it doesn't matter how it works. The workflow is all the same. And, you know, I want you guys to understand that once a business owner gets approved and they hear the rates, typically, you know, depending on their situation, they do need the money. And by the way, there's no other companies that are going to give them better rates. Okay, so I just want to let you know, we deal with the best lenders out there. All right, including our partnership with Fundbox. These are banks. We have such a good relationship with these banks, and there's no place else that these companies can get a better rate at on these types of loans. So you can rest assured that this is the only place that these business owners can get the funding. In other words, they're not going to be able to go to a different company and get a better rate because it's based on risk. It's based on how much goes into their account. It's based on a number of things. They can't go to another company that does something similar to us and get a better rate because it doesn't exist. We have the best, most competitive rates out there. So even though it sounds high in some cases, it's only because their credit is so bad and it's a risky situation. So in a risky loan, I mean, that's why banks don't even lend in the first place. Most banks won't touch deals like this, for sure, because they're so risky and they have to go to companies that will allow them to at least have a chance. But if we can then fix their credit in the meantime, get them more business in the door, save them money on their processing, these are all going to be beneficial for the business owner. And then we can get them better loans as we go along. And then eventually maybe no loans. They won't need loans anymore because they're in such a good situation and they're bringing more money in. And if they do want more money, it's for new equipment or it's to start a new project or a second location. And it's not because they need to make payroll or just get by or whatever the case might be, okay? So with that being said, I do want to touch on project funding and what that entails and what it looks like. There is a couple things going on right now in the economy. Nobody knows exactly why, but there's a lot of YouTube videos talking about it, which is that there's a huge amount of money, more money than there has ever been available out there. Everybody has their own opinion as to why this is happening. We all know the government prints money to begin with. We all know that, you know, we're the number one, you know, consumer country in the world. So other, you know, countries kind of depend on us to purchase their goods and things like that. So there's a lot of reasons why there's so much money. But the bottom reason is that whether it's our country or other countries, right now there's more money, way more than has ever been available. And the rich are getting rich, rich, rich. And then the middle class is starting to, you know, evaporate, and people are moving into one of these two categories, which is for us that are in the middle class, and for yourselves, most of the middle class that we have with most of us, right? You know, it's kind of being separated between really rich people and then people that are not so rich, right? And that money at the top, these rich people have figured out a way to use their money to make more and more money with. And what they're doing is simply lending this money, millions and billions of dollars, to other companies and making interest that the banks won't pay. So why is project funding becoming such a big thing right now? Is because the fact of the matter is that these big companies that have millions of dollars and billions, really, right? They can't make interest. The bank simply they can't make money interest in the bank. So what do? They lend it to their other friends or businesses that they feel comfortable with lending this money to, millions of dollars, right? So take you know, one of our deals we have right now, a $65 million deal. Okay, so how is this happening where some private funder or lender is lending $65 million to somebody. And now and these deals are becoming more and more prevalent. So the good news for our agents is that you guys have the ability to work with us on these larger project funding deals. That's where these deals are coming from, is from our agents. We are not a bank, okay? Neither is Bill, okay? We're simply a broker. So we broker out these deals, and we have relationships with lenders that have this kind of money to give to these kind of people, and we're in the middle. It's not a regulated part. There's no regulations when it comes to us having to have licenses, because we're simply brokering the deal between the two, and we actually get our funding from the company that gets the funding itself. They say we cut a deal with them, a consulting fee that we charge to them to broker out this deal and to get them the funding they need from licensed institutions. So we're going to people who are licensed, we're giving it to people, and these people are then giving us money once the deal is funded. This is different than the cash advances. The cash advances, obviously, it's a completely different. We get our money from the banks, which would be, completely different. We get our money on the bigger project funding from the companies. Once they get their funding, we have an agreement in place, kind of like a consulting fee that they get charged for us to go find them money. And we say, hey, we're going to go and we're going to get you the money that you need, sign this, that, the other thing, some NDAs, non-competes, etc. We're going to find you X amount of dollars. And then once we find you that money and you're funded, then you cut us a check for X amount of dollars. Okay, let's call it 1% on the deal, right? On a bigger deal, it might be 1%. So in this deal, it's what, $650,000, which is a pretty good payday. And to an agent, 25% of that is going to be whatever it's going to be, is quite a bit of money that you guys would make for being in the middle of a deal like this. Okay, so what we do want to do is on the project funding and on project funding deals like this, obviously we want to make that more available and show you how to market stuff online, or how to find people that might need that kind of money, because it's out there and something's happening in the economy. This type of stuff has never been available before, and the fact of the matter is, it's amazing that these types of deals are even possible. And it all started 6 months ago or so, when we got a call from one of our lenders who said, hey, just to let you know, if you ever find a deal that needs over $20 million, shoot it our way. We can get it approved, and we'll show you how to, get paid very well on it, and so on and so forth. And that started the ball rolling. Okay, so we're going to show you guys how to find businesses that might need that kind of money. LinkedIn is a really good way to do it, from what we're going to be showing you and what we're learning ourselves. And there's a lot of big things in store on these project funding deals, and we'll go over all that stuff. But right now, I wanted to give you that information. The last thing I'm going to do, all right, on this particular webinar, it's starting to run over now, and what we're going to do is talk to you about, real quick, how to scan a business. So if you guys go to reputation management, there's actually, if you go to YouTube and type in WL Madden agents, it will take you to a page that has a bunch of different videos about the website. One is called Reputation Management. Reputation Management allows you to type in the name of the business and a few different details about the business, and it runs a scan on the business about the services, about the listings that they have. It shows you out of the top 49 or so biggest business platforms out there, such as Facebook, Yellow Pages, Google, all these different listings they could possibly be on. It shows them right there all the listings they are not on. So if they're going to be on the first page of Google and they're going to start to get some traction online, they're going to need to be hooked up to a software like ours that has a direct API integration to all 50 of the biggest business platforms. So right on the WL Madden site, if you click on Reputation Management and then you click on, it says click here to scan your business. It's the last sentence down, and here is actually in blue little letters. You have to really tell that it's a different color, but when it says click here, click on the word here. It's going to expand the page, just like it shows you actually on the actual YouTube video, and it takes you to a separate page. You can scan a business on that page, and it's going to scan it for you, and it's going to show you a bunch of different websites. 50, as a matter of fact, or 49. It's going to have Google. You guys probably can't see that. It's going to have Google, Yelp, Merchant Circle, Google. It's going to have Yelp. It's going to have Merchant Circle. It's going to have It's going to have this 49 of them. These are the biggest business directories and social media platforms. What the first thing our software does is it lists them on those platforms. We have a direct API integration with those platforms. Their business will be listed on it. Any images or anything they put on there will list across all 50 of those platforms, and that will start to give their rankings up on Google. There's a lot of other tools we use as well, and the toolbar does a lot more, which we can go in depth in another video. But just know that you can always scan a business right there, and these are really powerful tools that you have at your disposal. If you're in front of a business and they scan their business and they notice they're only on 2 out of 48 platforms, okay, and it tells them right there that they're not listed on 47 platforms, and it says there's an error rate, all right, on those platforms of 92%. Okay, you're not on 92% of the most widely searched business directories and social media platforms. What does that mean to a business owner? They obviously need to get on those listings and get their business listed properly. And that's how powerful a business scan can be. The business owner can visually see it with their own eyes. And I believe Brandon made a video a while ago about how to do a business scan. It's on, if you type in and go to YouTube, if you actually go to WL Madden Agents and go to the reputation management software, it shows you how to scan a business. Again, most of these are under WL Madden Agent, and there's a lot of really good videos about how the website works, including the funding. But I wanted to go over it with you again so that you guys know that you have these tools at your disposal. Okay, and right now I'm going to answer some questions and talk about let's figure out what we got going on here, and I can go through here, take a look. So, all right, okay, good evening, hello, and happy birthday, Bill. Yes, happy birthday. Okay, hello. And Mr. Dillon, there he is. How are you, sir? Okay, Marianne. Hi, Alan. Me and Patricia. Good. It's good to see you guys. And again, as you saw right there, we're doing really well with these campaigns. They're starting to pick up traction for all of you, so you guys know what's going on. And you guys will be getting updated reports on any of your leads that will be coming on a weekly basis. So that includes Mr. Dillon, the Brazies, a bunch of you. Marianne, there's quite a few of you. I think 3 or 4 of you on here. So that's great. Okay. I have a customer who's going to sign up credit card processing. What are the steps to get him signed in? Okay, well, we need you to give us that lead. If you guys have a hot lead, this would be a business that wants to talk to us right now. If you call us on the 877 number, and you can call right in, we have several other numbers, some of you have them, but you can just call the 877 number and say, hey, Mr. Business Owner wants to talk to a salesperson about, or a representative or consultant about processing, then we'll get right on the phone with them right there. And we'll do it right there to help you out, to then let you listen in and actually show you how this is done. Because if they're wanting to talk to us and you just put the time that they want to talk to us, the process, I'm not going to outline the whole thing, but it's very similar in nature to the process I just outlined, which is we're going to then at that point need to get some documents from them and an application. But first, with processing, there's a lot more to learn. So I'm not going to go into all the steps. The reason why is because we don't know if they need traditional processing, if they want the cash discount program, what type of POS system they might need. Do we need to get them a lease on equipment? Are we going to reprogram their current equipment? We have to explain the different rates to them. We have to find out what their current situation is, and we're going to have to do some digging on these deals, which we do have an hour-and-a-half webinar that goes into very specific information about processing with Mr. Matt Walden, who is the owner of Mercatech. He's one of our relationships for credit card processing. There's a lot to learn on that webinar, and that way you can probably look that up and go into details about all the different things there are to learn about processing. But just know this. Here's the fact. The cash discount program, okay, and you guys have heard Mike talk about the paradigm shift and all the, what's going on right now in the processing world. It's very real. It's so real, as a matter of fact. We were out the other night with some guys in the processing industry, and just so you know, these are guys that are independent agents, not of us, but they're independent agents of another company, and they kind of work for themselves, and they have their own thing going on. These guys came to visit with us because we're trying to work together on some level, actually, to help we're trying to put together a really cool program for you guys where we have salespeople that come to your local cities for a few days at a time to work directly with agents and go and approach businesses with you guys to show you how simple it is. Because we've had a lot of agents that have said, it seems really difficult for me, or when I'm talking to a business owner, they think it's a scam or they're saying this or that. We want to actually go to different towns, take a video cameras with us, and we're already preparing for that. So if these larger funding deals get done, there's a lot of unique things happening with Mr. Madden's company, and there's a lot of excitement around the corner here. And we would love for us to be able to go to different cities and show you how easy it is to really get these deals done. Now, there is a lot to learn when it comes to certain types of equipment and all that, but as far as the initial explaining of the cash discount program, it is taking off. We were at a restaurant, and wouldn't you know it, we just for a joke took a look at the receipt and said, oh, I wonder if it's the cash discount program that these guys are running. Lo and behold, as a matter of fact, it's in my phone. I could almost show it to you, but I don't think you could see it with the glare. We took pictures of all the receipts, and Mike definitely wanted to show it to you guys on the webinar. And Mike, by the way, has an infection in his arm. He has some type of weird infection that he's on antibiotics. His arm blew up like twice its size. I don't know what's going on, but he had to go to the doctors for it. He thought he bumped his elbow because it was turning red, and it turns out to be some type of strange infection, but he's better. He's getting better now, so he'll be back next week to talk to you guys. But let's take a look. And this business was called, let's see, do I have it saved here? And I shot it to Bill too the second I saw it, just to show him how powerful the cash discount. Here it is right here. Okay, you guys probably can't see it, but there's the receipt. It was all crumpled up, but I shot Bill a text and I said, hey, Bill, if you ever want to know if the cash discount program is real, well, here it is. So I'll blow it up for you so you can actually read this right off the screen. So this place is called Dakota. Okay, there it is right there. There's the address, okay, 7301 East Indian School Plaza, Building A, Scottsdale, Arizona. Let's go back here. I just lost it. Oh, no. We're going to have to go all the way back to find that picture that took me like 10 minutes to find. But let's go back. It is important that I show you this just so you can see. And this is all the time we're running into this, but most businesses have not switched over. Keep in mind that only right now about 15% of businesses have switched over. There's still 85% of the marketplace available for the cash discount program. Okay, that's the truth, and that's the reality of the situation. But they're all going to switch over sooner or later. The cash discount program is going to take over, and once that happens, you can rest assured. Here it is. Okay, once that happens, there is no switching back from 0%. So once a company switches over, there is no more going back. They're not going to decide one day that they want to pay fees again, right? If they're not paying any fees and there's no rates. Now, we're putting something special together. We're trying to see if we can get it approved and see if we can make it happen, because as you guys are agents, you guys are getting paid 25%, right? So for businesses, we want to see if we can give them some type of more incentive to be the first company that might give them something to process with us. We haven't worked out the details yet, but as of right now, the cash discount program, let's take a look at a receipt here. So name of the business up here. Again, you can see up here, Dakota. There's the address. There's the city website. Okay. Now let's take a look at what it says here. Okay. Cash discount processing fee, 3%. Okay. This is added on to the total of the bill. Okay, so it's 3% has been added on to this bill, right? And that processing fee, okay, let's see, tax. Okay, so that's what the cash discount program looks like. Is it usually says cash discount 3 to 5%, sometimes 5%, sometimes 3%, somewhere in that range. Obviously, the higher the percentage is that gets passed on to the consumer, then obviously there's more money in the deal for you guys and for us. Okay, so most companies are charging 4%. Sometimes if they're a bigger business like these guys, they do a lot of business. So they lowered it to 3% because they do so much business, and that's what they decided upon with the merchant who set them up with the cash discount program. But This is everywhere you go now. It's starting to become more and more prevalent, and you're starting to see the cash discount program being offered. So it's completely legal. It's completely, the business owners are fighting back. They don't want to pay thousands of dollars in fees anymore. And agents like you guys can let businesses know that that is what's going on. Is now, again, you have to be careful in the wording to the business owner, because so many business owners think that they're going to lose business because of the cash discount program, and people are going to stop going to their business and they're going to lose all their business. I can assure you that there's no companies out there that offer the cash discount program that have ever gone back because they were losing customers. It's a very small percentage to the person. So keep in mind, there's also a button, a little hot button, that if someone ever did say anything, they can override it and they can take on that fee, and then they don't have to worry about it. But business owners simply, people that come to different people's businesses, they go there because they like the service, or they like where they get their haircut, or they like whatever the case might be. Very, very rarely is there any type of business that wouldn't fit into the category of using the cash discount program. It's happening on larger scale businesses. We have an agent who shot in a Burger King. I mean, you even see some of these bigger businesses now starting to offer the cash discount program, the receipts, and you'll see it happening. So that's why you guys want to be at the forefront of that. And we want to make sure that we get as many of these businesses switched over as quick as possible, because if we can do that, then obviously that money all goes to you and goes to us, and then we're set with that business for life on those particular accounts. So that is very real. It's happening, and it's happening very quickly now. And we had told you about it months ago. Now there's other people jumping on the bandwagon, and there will continue to be. So we want to get on top of them as fast as possible, okay? So let's take a look here. All right. So yeah, get us that lead so that way we can get in contact with that business and start talking to them right away. We want to help you. We're here to help you, and we'll call them with you on the phone immediately and talk to them about any services they might need. How long does it take before a client is contacted after we enter the information into the back office? Well, the leads that are, so like, here's the thing. As soon as they go into the back office, the very next day they're called, because there's only, there's not that many leads coming in every day from agents. So it's not like we're overburdened with leads. The problem is that now, throughout the course of time since we started, there are a lot of leads since the beginning of time. So when a business owner does not pick the phone up, which is almost always the first time, we then have to recycle through that lead. So it gets contacted over and over again at the speed in which we can, call through them and continue to call them. So the first time that you put it in there, it's contacted the very next day, because those are considered the freshest leads. We give those to our top people, and we give them as a reward to get on them right away. But then they go into the dialer, and then they get blended in with other leads. And so, I can't tell you exactly. If you give me the name of the lead or any particular lead, I can tell you how many times in total it's been contacted. But to give you the exact number, like how many times a day each lead is contacted or something like that, would be impossible, because there's always new leads being added in there. But we contact them right away. We want to get these deals done, obviously. And so that's what those guys are doing, is they get those as rewards, and they work off commissions. So they obviously want to get those deals done right away. But again, if you think that there's a lead sitting in your back office that has not been or you want it, that the business owner is interested, just call in, because we'll call them with you on the phone right there on the spot to get that deal done. We want to talk to the interested parties. This business is not the easiest thing in the world. Again, we might have really good services, but the fact is we're still in a very competitive industry. Funding, merchant services, website development, SEO, these are all very competitive industries, and no matter how good you are, it doesn't really matter. The business owner, we still have to get them to pick the phone up and explain what it is that we do. So yes, we have really talented salespeople, and yes, we're really good at what we do, but we can't dictate when the business owner is going to be available and when they're not. That's why if you guys talk to the businesses, it's very helpful if you guys can put in there The best time to contact Susie Smith, who owns Susie Smith's Barbecue, is at 2:00 p.m. That's when she's done for the day, or a slow time. She said that you can contact her. She said she was interested in a loan. So now we know the best time to contact Susie, and we also know she's interested in money. Those two things help us dramatically so we can target when to call that business every day. If you're shooting on leads into the back office and you're not talking to people, we're still calling through those leads. Believe me, there's still businesses and we still want to get in contact with them. But obviously, the more information we have on a lead, the better your chances are, and obviously the better our chances are as well. Okay, so that's just the way it is. We're going to contact any business that goes in there, but obviously we prefer to have some information about the business. It obviously helps. Okay, so are they in contact? Can we get them out of the contact for the credit card processor? If they're in a contract, can we get them? I was reading that wrong. I thought it said contact. Yes, I will tell you that if they're in a contract, we can get them out of the contract. Now, there's different types of contracts. Sometimes mostly the contracts, just so you know, are for the leases on the equipment and not necessarily for the processing itself. So if it's a good account, then a lot of the times we'll buy out the actual fee. But if it's a situation where they have a contract on a piece of equipment that they leased, one of two things is going to have to happen. Depending on how that lease was written, there's ways that we can go into around actually getting them to not have to pay for that lease. And we can get into detail with the business owner on how to do that. Or, a lot of times we'll give them, in order to get the account, a free piece of equipment. We want to get leases done on equipment as well, because that gets you guys upfront money on deals. However, if we can't do a lease on the equipment and they are in a contract, but the account's really good and they're processing over $20,000 a month in business, and it's going to bring us in a lot of money, and it's a cash discount deal. And just to give you some numbers on the cash discount program, you're looking at, on a $20,000 or $30,000 account, the company brings in on $20,000, you guys are looking at probably about $100, $50 to $100 a month on an account like that. On a bigger account, $50,000, $100,000, you're talking like $300 or $400 a month on the cash discount program, not on traditional processing. That's why the merchant industry has taken back over and is blowing apart at the seams right now. And that's why things are going so well in that industry. So because the cash discount program has now enabled people to make a lot more money on a deal that before we could only make $20. Now you can make $200 on the same exact business because of the cash discount program. Okay, so that's the reality of the situation and what's going on right now. The golf course, Larry. Yes, the golf course. We are going to get to work on the golf course, Larry. I have been extremely busy, but I want to work on that deal exclusively with you on the golf course. And I have time tomorrow morning just for you to go and to put a nice email together for the golf course and talk to this gentleman about the options. And now we have a little bit more behind us, especially with some of these bigger projects going on, is that we can now say, hey, look, we just got this funding. I know that you're looking for funding. Here's an example of a mobile application. We wanted to give you the proper information so that you had it and we could get you everything you needed. And I know that these guys are very business savvy, and they're opening this new golf course and they are in need of these services. The good news is this, Larry, is that because they're looking for, and what might be best for them is going to be a mobile application, there's nobody else out there that can make mobile applications for them, and they're not going to find it anywhere else because they're obviously not seeking for it, but that's what's going to be best for them. And now we can actually go in there and I'll call with you tomorrow, make a little bit of time to talk to this gentleman, maybe get a little bit more understanding of the funding that he might be looking for, and give him some options, because he was very unclear on the funding and what he wanted, and just said, oh, just shoot me an email with some information, but obviously is in need of these services. A mobile application, I think, would be the best starting point for that business. Okay, so I will 100% text me in the morning. You have my cell phone. Text me and I will call that business personally with you tomorrow. Okay. And I promise you that will happen. As you know, I've been swamped, but I want to take care of that particular deal with you because that particular lead I really like. And I told you that I would work on that with you. So we'll get to that tomorrow. Aside from that, happy birthday to Mr. Madden. And we look forward to working with you guys. We do have some project funding deals that came in. We'll probably talk about that next Wednesday. And as things progress, we'll let you know what's going on. And we look forward to talking to all of you and sending you the reports that are now going to be available to you as well. So we'll have a good night and feel free to call us anytime, okay, to Ashley and Haley, and they'll be able to field your calls and get you to the right people, all right? Have a great night.